everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary. We are coming to you live from the Sedona Rouge Hotel and Spa, who is one of our sponsors. I'm Carol Kahn, and our sponsors are the Sedona Rouge Hotel and Spa, Digitech, and Black Magic Design. So thank you all for being part of the film festival and celebrating our 25th anniversary with us. And joining me now is Erin Brown Thomas.
Hello, so happy to be here.
Thank you. And your film?
My film is called But First.
But First. ... Which we'll talk about in a second, but I wanted to welcome you back because you were here last year.
Yes, I had such an amazing time last year. I knew I had to come back, and I was so thrilled to get this film accepted.
That's awesome. And then I know you're working on another one, so you can be back next year, right?
Totally. I've got my husband and I made a feature together, and we are just going to start submitting it here shortly. We're going into color correction this month, so very much hoping to be back. And if there's any cat lovers out there, also really pray that we get to come back because the film is about a cat.
Okay.
And it's pretty awesome.
Well, so is this film. So tell us a little bit about the film before we see it.
This film is told through the medium of dance. And the way it came about, the quick version of it, is there's a organization. There's two organizations, really, the San Francisco Dance Film Festival and the National Center for Choreography, that got together and did what they call a co-laboratory workshop, where they search for a director who has some experience in dance that they like, and they search for a really great up-and-coming choreographer. And they found Mike Esperanza, who is the choreographer for this, and me, and they threw us together. They flew us across both away from our homes and put us into flew us and dancers and put us into this workshop over the course of a week and said, hey, meet each other, make something, be done in a week. And it was a process-driven organization where they're very interested in the process of what it means for a choreographer and a director to fully team up and fully come up with a vision together. Because most dance-based film is either a director that has an idea that hires a choreographer, or a choreographer that has some really cool choreography and they want to make a film and they hire a director. But their idea was, well, if we put two people who are both gifted at what they do and have a specialized, they have specialization in what they do and come together, we could make something really cool. So that's how this happened.
Okay, so I'd like to take a look at the trailer.
Okay. Doesn't give much away.
No, I have seen the film, and one of the things that I do want to talk about is the editing of this particular film, because the way that it had to be edited was choreographed in its own way.
Sure, and I edited the film, so I'm so glad that you respond to the editing. It was, Mike and I knew going in exactly what we wanted this thing to look like, and I had a great AD who really made sure I got every shot I needed. And so I had a map in my head going in of how I was going to edit it, but I knew certain parts it would be just finding the best moments, like the little montage at the beginning, which you saw a little glimpse of in this trailer. I call it the disorientation montage. And if you see the film, you'll understand why. But that was really about capturing like a lot of moments and then finding the best ones to put in and find that editing rhythm. It was a lot of fun, and I edited it in about 4 hours. So again, we had 7 days to do the whole thing, including a day off, because they had to take Sunday off for rest. So there wasn't a lot of time, and like every little step in the process would be like, we got a half day for this part of the process. So that was edited in about half a day because we had to go to color correction and sound design as well.
I'm pretty amazed that was done in 4 days, because typically the whole thing, the way that it's edited, is the whole entire dance. And typically, like when you see a dance, you see it live, and so you get the message. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
Well, thank you.
We
really wanted to make something original.
You did a great job with it.
Thank you.
How difficult was it to, I know you said that you had some ideas in your mind about how you wanted to do it, but it is a departure from typical filmmaking and what you've done before. Yeah. So how difficult was this?
This was fun for me because the mandate was just play and have fun. On the first day of the workshop, Mike and I went out with the dancers to just walk around outside and play. And one of the first things that he and I did is there's a girl named Erin who she is, you know, they're all three equally featured, but there's one that if you were going to say is the lead in terms of she's kind of singled out. When you see the movie, you'll understand. But I had her lay down on a step. And because she had really short hair, and my hair, like if I'm going like this, you can see that I'm falling forward. So like a shot from the side would reveal that gravity is pulling my hair down. But her hair was really short. It defied gravity. And I said, why don't you lay down on that step, and I want you to engage your muscles like your feet, which are against this wall, are actually standing on the ground. And we turned our phone, because we were just using our cell phones, and I look at Mike and I'm like, this is a really cool optical illusion. If we cast this in black and white, these steps will look like a wall. So we started with this idea of the world being sort of on two planes. And we first threw around some serious concepts where it's like, this person's living on the wrong plane of reality and they want to get back. And that seemed like a really cool idea. But when we started really investigating dance films that have been made out there, there's so many films about like broken relationships, and there's just not a lot of films that have a comedic element to it. So we wanted to do something that was a slightly comedic and twisted. And eventually Mike, when he and I were just throwing ideas back and forth, like, how do we explain this like weird disorientation of the world? He was just like, I don't know, sometimes I feel that way before I have my coffee. And I was like, that's interesting. And this other woman who was helping to part run the workshop, you could see her face kind of get really intrigued. And she programs a dance film festival, so she's seen so much. And at that point we were like, okay, well let's brainstorm on that for a minute. And 10 minutes later we were like, that's it. Like, this is why the world is not working for this person. They need their coffee. It's very relatable to me. I have a very complicated relationship with coffee. And that's what I really wanted to get across in this. It's like coffee is this weird thing where there is this element of addiction to it, and you could and there's some aspects in which coffee can be really unhealthy, but then there's also aspects where coffee is this really wonderful like self-care routine thing, like a slow morning with coffee where you're sipping it by the window. And that's really the reveal moment, as you've seen in the film, right, is really about that sort of like self-care moment of like, I'm me again.
So you just told a whole film. I was gonna like keep the secret.
I think it's okay. I think it's a film that's more about experiencing it.
Yeah, it is.
So I just felt like going for it. I hope people come and see it. We're playing tonight at 7.
Well, they definitely need to, because it's completely different than anything that I've seen. Like I said, I've seen dance on stage, but to see it in film and then to choreograph it exactly, to that. Like, people, the experience could be something like even the Blue Man Group, like
right,
how everything is so synchronized to that. But also just to keep on task of the subject. Like when I look at films like this, I wonder like how difficult or how easy is it in your mind to make sure that you have all the pieces that go together so you don't miss anything, because you have a timeline that you have to get this done.
And we had a really aggressive shooting schedule. For us, so much of the shooting schedule. So we spent a full day and a half scouting around Akron, Ohio, where we shot. We had basically like 20 locations that there was a grant that was overseeing this whole thing. We had locations that were available to us. And so I looked around at all of them. And of course I was like, well, I like this wall in this location, and then this wall over across town here, and I like this staircase at this library. And so we were just like, our biggest challenge was our location moves. So it was just like, I was like, I've got to get all my stuff. We got to work quickly. But the cool thing is the DP, Tyler Clark, who's amazing. If you've seen the film, like he's such a rock star. He did such a great job. He worked, we knew exactly what we wanted. So we got there and we were so efficient. We just got it and we moved on. But the other thing that I feel like is worth saying about this is like part of its quirkiness and like the way it came together was really, Mike has such a gift in creating music, and I got to help him be a part of that. But he had experience doing that in the past for shows that he choreographed in New York. He was like, oh, I've created music out of like objects and things. So we created basically a basic beatbox track that they used to dance to, but we didn't score it till after, because like I said, we had like basically 6 working days to do this. And so the last day, it was building on top of this basic beatbox track all of these sounds and we recorded those sounds, and you can see a little footage of it at the end of the film. There's a coffee shop called Akron Coffee Roasters. They let us come in, and we came in. He and I came in with a microphone, and we would like steam milk, or we would like I'd just like take coffee beans and like throw them down on the sink, or like take a little spoon and go like this around the edge of the glass. So we were like, the sounds in this, it sounds like music, but like everything we created, it had to be sounds that we could do in that shop. So some of them were human sounds, like breathing or crunching, or like things that you do, like sipping coffee, but they're all sounds that like were recorded on location in this coffee shop, which I think that also really helped solidify the tone.
Yes. Yeah, that was brilliant. I know, I loved that part. The sound effects were great. Well, Erin, thank you so much for being with us. And could you tell us how people can learn more about your film?
Sure. Well, we're just starting. This is, I believe, our second, and I have 3 more to announce soon with festivals. So I'm assuming there's going to be a lot over the course of the next year. I'm on Instagram, and I generally post festival announcements in my Instagram stories. I'm at Erin Brown Thomas, and you can also find Mike Esperanza and Tyler Clark. I'll link to them sometime today in my own Instagram story. So if people are like really just wanting to follow the team, they can totally do it. As well as you can find me on Facebook, Erin Brown Thomas. I'm the only one as far as I know.
Awesome. And your film is playing tomorrow?
Tonight, right? Friends in the audience? Yeah, it's playing tonight at 7 p.m. at Harkins 1.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. I look forward to seeing you later and also again next year.
Yes.
I know you'll be back.
I want to be back. I definitely want to be back.
Awesome. Well, Erin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival after this.